What's up guys, Austin here with a tips and tricks video in Titanfall. Now I'm going to try and make this a weekly series, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in Titanfall. So if you guys want to see a tips and tricks video in another game, just leave a comment down below and I'll do a tips and tricks video for that game as well. I'm also going to try to start a video making schedule where I will increase my uploads to around 4 videos a week just to get a little bit more content out there and increase the traffic to my channel. I've also decided that my friend Ian will be joining me on this channel, so be expecting some videos with him in the future. Alright guys, I'm going to start out by talking about my pilot loadouts. So, for my primary weapon, I usually use the R10 1C carbine, as it is effective at basically any range, whether it be short CQB or across a ton of rooftops. It's always going to be effective. Its stats don't look that great, but I am here to tell you that the accuracy and range is definitely farther than it appears. And the damage isn't that bad either when you compare it to some of the other guns. While the Hemlock might have a lot better damage, it is a 3-round burst, whereas the carbine is fully automatic, so that's a huge advantage. For attachments, I use the hollow sight, as it gives a little bit more pinpoint accuracy and a better field of view than the regular iron sights, and it doesn't increase the accuracy or the range of the gun, but it is hugely beneficial when it comes to combat. I also use the suppressor, and it does decrease the damage and the range, but the suppressor makes it so that your red dot does not appear on the radar to other pilots, so I think that's extremely beneficial to use. So for my anti-Titan weapon, I use the charge rifle, and I know this is a very high level unlock, but I really like it. Its accuracy is extremely good, and so is its range and damage for that matter, and it's effective not only against Titans but also against enemy pilots, so I tend to use that most often. When I was a lower level, I used the Sidewinder, as that was, the second best thing to the charge rifle still. The Sidewinder is extremely effective against Titans as well as enemy pilots if you can hit them, but that's the problem with the Sidewinder, is it's extremely inaccurate, and it will kill you because it does have a lot of splash damage, so don't try and board an enemy Titan and use the Sidewinder when you're taking it out. So for my sidearm, I use the B3 Wingman. That's another high level unlock, but it's extremely accurate, its damage is extremely high, and its range is extremely high. The only downside is the fire rate, and that can be an issue sometimes, but it only takes 2 or 3 hits with it to kill an enemy pilot, so that isn't too much of an issue. For my tactical ability, I use Cloak. Always use Cloak. I don't care what anybody else says, Cloak is definitely the best pilot ability, as you can get away from both Titans and pilots extremely easily. Stim just doesn't have the same effect as Cloak does, where you can get away, it doesn't conceal you as much from Titans and other players. So basically just use Cloak and use your parkour to your best abilities to get away from both pilots and Titans. For my ordnance, I use arc grenades. I don't typically use a lot of grenades, but when I do, I use the arc grenade, as it greatly affects both pilots and Titans, as it will completely mess up the screen of enemy pilots, and it will also cause damage to Titans. So that's what I use for my ordnance. For my tier 1 kit, I use Power Cell, as it charges my cloak faster than it would otherwise, and I can easily get away from pilots and Titans in a close situation. I also use the Dome Shield battery for my Titan, as it provides a longer invulnerability for my Titan and is not easily destroyed by either enemy Titans or enemy pilots. This leads me to my first tip, which is the Auto Titans are far better than you believe. There's no point in wasting a Titan if you're not going to use it. If you play as a pilot most of the time like me, call in an Auto Titan to do the work for you. If you get in a sticky situation, an Auto Titan can pull you out of it by drawing fire from enemy Titans, as they'll shoot at the Titan instead of you. Auto Titans can even guard you at strategic times in the game, such as when you're trying to get on a dropship. Alright guys, my last tip for the week is that killing grunts is a great way to go if you're down on pilot kills or if you want to top the leaderboard. While they might only give you 20 XP each, they're very common and extremely easy to kill. These kills will stack up to many pilot kills and level you up extremely quickly. Alright guys, thank you so much for tuning in this week. Be sure to leave a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed my content, and I'm going to be uploading much more frequently, so stay tuned for more videos. Also, be sure to comment on what you want to see in the future. Alright, see you guys tomorrow.